Hello, everyone. How's it going? Changing my position using my work camera. I hope you can hear me. It's a bit hard to actually reach the camera. I'm not sure which one's working. But I am here hanging out in my living room because the lighting is just too bad over there and it's getting too warm in that area. So I'm going to talk to you about, well, my cute outfit, of course, first. I'm going a bit like 2000s, I would say. And I'm pretty much hanging out here, trying to go out, trying to see. There's this like fair in Seville, which is like all the, I don't know if they call it gypsy fair, but it's all like the flamenco dresses. And it's a nice event where a lot of people go hang out, but I'm not really like it that much because it's just too busy. I don't like busy places. I really don't like busy places. And it's also just too messy. There's a lot of horses. It smells like horse shit. And it's very traditional for my liking, honestly. I'm a person who's a bit more from 2000 onwards. Like, I don't do tradition, I don't do culture. Like, I am pretty much against preservation of culture because preservation of culture pretty much stops the the innovation into the future. Like if we want to go and build something new, like this is why actually United States is pretty interesting because there is some culture, yes, but most of that culture is very new. Like the people who came to the US, like back in the day, they all came with the hopes of like, we're leaving everything behind. So we're here to start a new life. We're not here to kind of keep our identity from back in the day. We just want to start a new adventure and start a home. So they took a new land. Yes, they did. They took a new land and then they claimed it as theirs. And then they started, rejecting this British identity that, that was just bullying them pretty much. And with this, you have now an American culture mixing many different cultures. So if the United States had this idea of like, no, we're just British, then you'll have like the British fighting with the Germans, and then the Germans and the British fighting with the Irish, and then the Latinos in California, they're like, we've always been here. I mean, the Chicanos in California, correction. The Latinos in Florida. So with this, you will have what you have now here in Europe. Like if you go to Germany, it's very kind of restricted, like changes happen, but it's not much encouraged to be different and to kind of break the cycle and to stop being German in some sense. Germany is an interesting one. In Spain, it's like this preservation of identity is super freaking strong that there's nothing new happening. Like there's not much of a rock scene. There's not much of a techno scene. Even when people try to dress up for this kind of Feria de Sevilla, there was some backlash because there was like a Muslim woman going with like a headscarf or whatever. And to me, that's like, yeah, but like they're using it in the name of like, we're saving tradition, which is a bit interesting because no one is stopping you from doing what you're doing. Like, why are you trying to stop other people from evolving? And this is what I'm seeing with like many different European countries where there is, always been the same culture. And if you go to China, it's even worse. And if you go to Arabia, it's super intense. So I would say the US having this kind of mix of cultures, even though you will have some Americans now would say like, no, like a true American is like of British descent. I think, what's his name? Something Adams. The guy who wrote about money. Anyway, so he was talking about the only true Americans are those who descended from the British or the British Isles. Those being England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland. Ireland's a bit different because Ireland is not exactly English. They're Irish. They're Gaelic. And they were seen as lower class when they started immigrating. So that affected a lot of things. Now, here in Spain, you do have some changes like up north because in the northern part of Spain, people are kind of rejecting this idea of Spain and they want to have their own identity. But instead of actually evolving beyond those, they're going back into like, no, we want to reserve our identity, which is kind of nice. But I think this is just a problem of mine because I'm a person with no attachment to culture or collective identity. And that's kind of problematic. But look at this. Don't you think my outfit looks pretty good today? I think so. So, yeah, like I do not know what to do because I think I want to like be part of a collective identity, but I also do not want to be part of a collective identity, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. The part of wanting to be part of a collective identity is because I was alone for a very long time, traveling different countries, traveling to different cultures and whatever. And I felt pretty comfortable in the US because it was just different people with different cultures. And I really liked that part. And, you know, there was some racism, of course, but yeah, Ohio was actually pretty nice. Most people in Ohio were pretty chill. It's a very gorgeous state. Like if you look at nature, Ohio is super beautiful. I really liked like Old Man's Cave, Southeast Ohio, Appalachia. And once you get into a little bit more to the Appalachian Mountain Range into West Virginia, yeah, the nature is just fascinating in that place, honestly. But there are some people who are probably haven't seen a lot of people from different places. So should I blame them? Not really, honestly, because my parents are pretty racist. And they've traveled the world. So I think, you know, like my mechanic, who was just a guy in his house in the middle of nowhere, near like the plains in Athens, Ohio. He was pretty much just like very chill guy who was open to all of us. It was just like a bunch of different people. And then more Chinese people started showing up to his place. He's a great mechanic, honestly. And he was charging less because he was doing it from home. And he was not racist at all. And this guy's probably never left Ohio, but he was pretty chill. So it's kind of fascinating to see a lot of hate sometimes on Ohio. I was one of those, don't get me wrong, but I was, you know, delving into like the sad memories of what Ohio gave me in some sense, especially the last ones. You want to be careful because the last memories you get from a person from a place, those are going to be kind of the markers of that person or place. So if you break up with someone and the last thing you have is a fight, it's just going to mark that person as a very negative person because the fight was bad and whatever. I look pretty Latina today. Do I not? Look at the amount of hair. Isn't this cute? Anyway, I digress. So, would I live in Ohio now? Probably not. Not because it's not nice people. I would say it's because I already left culture like that behind, like this one culture, one identity, celebrating the same things behind. So I think me being part of the trans community also gave me this hope of like, I'm going to be part of a group. Yay. And they're going to understand me. I'm going to be like finally accepted and understood. Well, girl, no, because within the trans community, there are trans women, trans men, and then trans women pretty much are pretty different. Like you have trans women who are very girlies. You have trans women who are young. You have trans women who are old. You have trans women who don't care about the looks. I'm pretty much a looky kind of girl, you know, like well, my arms are pretty long. But what I'm saying is I was hoping that this would be kind of it. This would be the community that I will get. This trans community will be my family and I'll be understood and I'll be welcome. And this is kind of what I expected from like metal and the metal scene when I was a teenager, because I thought I'm just going to be like accepted and be part of it. And then when I was like in Ohio and in California, the metalheads were very like a minority, and then the emo kids were also a minority. So it became just a bit more kind of like, it's not what you see on the news and it's not what you see on social media. That's just like a fraction of what's actually existing out there in the world. And what you want to do out there is just put yourself out there and just interact with people like you would normally. And then you're going to see that most people are just the basics, you know? And it's okay to say it. Those are kind of the normies, right? And this is where I feel guilty in trying to like push people to not be normies, because I want people to be like me so that I can feel less lonely. But also I think I'm really happy for people that they have this social collective identity and they actually feel that they don't need to have this individual identity, which sometimes, if you think about it, it's pretty good because you're not alone, so you don't have to do everything on your own, and then you're evolving with different people and they're teaching you different things, and then you don't have to do everything on your own, so you have a lot of help most of the time, and you can actually dedicate yourself to many different things because you have the time because you have other people helping you, you have people, interacting with you, and it's pretty nice. I don't know, maybe I'm just fantasizing about this, but I never had that collective identity when I was a child. Funny story, I was born premature. I was born immature, obviously. I was born premature baby. I was born immature. How dare you? Baby, immature baby. Anyway, I was born premature and I was put in an incubator, like one of those capsules, for, I don't know, like 2 weeks or something. And this is what my parents told me. This is what my mom told me. And eventually I was like in isolation from the beginning of my life. And then when I grew up, I was pretty introverted and I was hanging out with my brother most of the time. But then he kicked me out and I was like, I'm back alone again. And this is kind of my trauma with people. Like, I don't trust people very easily because to me, it's like, what do you want from me? You just want someone to hang out with? Do you actually care about me? Would you like to hang out if we're not drinking, smoking, doing drugs, or having sex? If so, you're my girl, you're my guy, you're my person. And with this, I kind of find myself isolating and disconnected from people because people socialize in relation to certain things that, you have to give them, they have to give you. And I'm working on this, to kind of include myself in society and be normal part of society, I guess, if that's a thing. But I think I need a lot more time. And I'm trying to be on dating apps again. So I'm trying to find myself in the loving world and maybe have a romantic relationship sooner or later because, I think I'm okay in a relationship. I think I've been pushing myself out of the world for a while, so I need to push myself inwards. So what do you think? Do you think that we should kind of restrict this preservation of culture and identity and our ancestors and kind of keep it a little 50-50? Like, sure, keep some of it there, but just let people move along. Like if someone tries to take a certain type of music like country and makes it like bluesy or makes it Mexican or makes it Chinese, you should not fight back because that's part of the evolution of humanity. And then it's the same thing if you're a Mexican in California and someone's white and wants to be like you, but they're bringing their whiteness into your Mexican identity, you also should accept it because you're not Mexican anymore. So you have to be a bit more smooth and accept the differences. Be like liquid. Do not be so rigid where you just kind of choque. In Spanish, it's like you clash. But I don't know. This could be a me thing. Like I said, I am not a collective person. I'm not a culture person. And I would prefer if everyone was themselves. And this is why I want people to be themselves, meaning I want you to leave this collective behind, keep some of it, but leave it behind and try to find out who you are, what you like and what you don't like, so that we can actually hang out and have fun because you know who you are. And I don't have to go figure you out. And then you don't have to figure me out because I'm different than you because all you know is a collective identity. Look at this. Cute. But tell me what you think. Am I going crazy? Maybe. Okay. This is good. What do you think of this angle? Like, should I go back to recording where I was? This is my better camera. This is my work camera. Sometimes I teach, so this is a pretty good high quality camera. I look good on this camera, actually. I don't know why I'm not using this. It's just the lighting that just messes with me. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Bye-bye.